Hello, my fellow chatterers and book lovers, and anyone else who's popped in because you're curious about what this is or you have got a bit lost. Welcome, everyone. It's going to be fun. We're going to play a game. Chaos will occur. So join in and stay around. Unless you're not into books, then this will be very, very dull for you. Thank you, everyone who often joins in with these videos. I'm back. It's been a while since December. I was trying to do more of a roll as you go, which was both fun but had its own challenges. And I forgot how long this video actually takes to set up, which reminded me why I decided to do a bit of roll as you go during January and February. Anyway, waffle aside, I'm going to be doing my March TBR with the TBR game. And I will be going through all the rules as usual. So if you've not been here before, you can understand how the game works. If you have been here before, you know what's happening and you can just skip to the part where I just tell you about the specific rules of this particular game, as in what I've assigned the colours for this month. I'm also going to be taking part in Middlegrade March because you know I love the middle grade. So I will be doing my March TBR, chatting you through a few. I need to stop talking so quickly. Okay. What was I even saying? Yes, I'm going to tell you my TBR for Middlegrade March, and I'm going to do a few recommendations as well. Okay, let's drink some tea. Okay, good stuff. And hopefully I will stop speaking so quickly and doing all of the kerfuffling. So on this channel, if you've not been here before, when I do a long video, and they do tend to be long, it's one continuous shot. I do not edit. Done some editing recently on some mini videos, takes a lot of time. So respect to all you editors out there, the work you put in, hats off. I'm just going to do chaos. Okay, cheers everyone. Clink, clink, clink. Right, we are good to go. This here be the board. So if you are familiar with the game, then use the timestamps wisely until I tell you what the colours are for this month, and I'll see you all later. Hello, newbies who have not been here before, or maybe you've not been here for a while and you want to know how this works. I have a counter. We have got my Embrace the... Oh, it's not very focused. There we go. This is my Embrace the Waffle, inspired by the idea from Mason in the Dark. Thank you very much, Mason. And my counter goes in the middle of the board because that is where I start. So we have 3 squares. We kind of have... I feel I should give them names because I found I was confusing myself last time I was doing this. So I will think on that. But essentially we have this kind of small square in the middle where I can just come out in any direction. So we have a blue at the top, yellow to the, I'm going with west for now. No, that would be east. Yellow to the east, green to the south, and pink to the west. Trying to make it simple for myself, failing miserably. So I can choose whatever direction to come out on, and I can choose whether I will be going anti-clockwise or clockwise for the first roll, and then I will continue to do that for the rest of the game. So I will continue to travel in that direction around the different levels. Now, if I land on a worrying worm here, I'll zoom in for a little bit for you. And there we go. So here is worrying worm. If I land on the head, and that's where my that's where my counter ends up. Then we go all the way down the body to the bottom here. And then I would do a worrying worm prompt, which I will explain later. If I land on the top, the bottom of a ladder, which is the thicker part, then I would go up the ladder. I know it's a circle. It's a circle, so it looks like down. Let's choose this one. There we go. Up the ladder, and that would then be. I would choose a lucky ladder prompt. Everything else, I assign each colour a different prompt for each month. And I start off with 1 dice. Then if I get a worm or a ladder and I move on to the second square, we have this first bookshelf here. Terrible. And it's just all falling apart. Great. It's going so well. If I get to this square, I then use 2 dice to get myself around, and the same for if I do get onto the third square. It doesn't really mean anything, just that we continue going round the board and I don't really have an end point. And I have now moved location to be in front of my bookshelves while I explain a little bit more about the prompts that I do. and I realise I am missing one, so I'll just go grab that. Feeling so professional. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I have Lucky Ladder prompt cards if I get a ladder. Now all of these prompts are nice, vague prompts that are kind to me. So things like, you know, most anticipated read, 5-star prediction, those kind of things. And in amongst them, I do also have a Feagle, and a Feagle is where I get to pick a book from under my bed. So a Feagle is from the Terry Pratchett, the We Free Men book. They like drinking, fighting and stealing, so I get to steal a book. So what I do with my books is when I buy books, they go under my bed, then I have to earn them with healthy points to encourage me to do healthy things good for both my physical and mental health. And that's how I try and motivate myself. So with that card, I would just get to have one without doing anything healthy. So I can eat chocolate, go to bed late, forget all my medication and still get a book. So on the other end of the scale, we have the Worrying Worm cards. I don't want to land on these. I mean, I do because it's fun, but I don't want to land on these. So all of those cards have something that's really more specific and harder to follow and might push me to read books that maybe I wouldn't be gravitating towards and picking up at this particular moment in time. So that's what they do. So there would be things like a really specific number of pages in there, or like very clear on that it has to be the author's surname beginning with a letter, or the book title beginning with this letter. Whereas my regular prompt cards, which are here, are kind of a happy medium. So it has a bit more leeway. So it could be, if I have a match a book with the letter, it could be title or author. So I've got a little bit more flexibility with it. That's the idea behind all of those. Right, I think that's everything you need to know that people who've been here before know. So I'm going to have a drink of tea and then we'll invite everyone else back and I will go through, as you can see behind my shoulder, if you can't. On the shelf, I've got my prompt board of the 4 colour prompts to match up, and I will tell you what they all are. And it's just reminded me I'm also missing something else. I think I'm organised, and then I realise I'm missing an important piece of equipment. So I will fetch that in a moment. Okay, tea is still nice and hot. That makes me very happy. It's always important to have a good cup of tea. Okay, let me grab the board. So hello, welcome back to everyone who skipped ahead because you know the game. I'm now moving on to talking about what the colour prompts are for March. So blue, we have the favourite, we have the 30-second prompt, which means I pull one of these prompt cards and I have 30 seconds to match a book to that prompt. If I don't, I've got to pick another book, but read both of them. I don't really have a punishment or reward for this because I was just punishing myself all the time. I never managed to do it. It's just fun. It just helps me choose books and helps me have fun. So we're just going with that. Pink, this month being Middlegrade March month, I thought it would be fun if I did a Middlegrade March Mad Spin. So here I have, just going to pop that down for a second, spinner. Thank you to the Orchard Tree game for providing me with all these fantastic things. Oh, it's a piece of blue tack. I'm using the blue tack to cover, it's got numbers 1 to 4, but I need it to have 5 and 6 on there as well. So I'm going to cover those up with this blue tack so we don't get confused, and just make sure it can still spin. Yeah, okay. So if I mark the ones with the blue tack, I know which ones are different numbers. There we go. So professional. So thank you, Dinossaurus, for the use of this wonderful device. I will be assigning the Middlegrade March prompts. So prompt number 1 will be number 1. And if I land on this, I will go through what all those Middlegrade March prompts are. If you do not know what Middlegrade March is, if you have not seen the announcement video, but you would like to know, that is linked into the description box. So you may go and get all the information you need and find out more about the prompts. And I will talk about Middlegrade March more later on. So I will spin. There are 5 prompts, and then this one here, which is the extra number 2 that I'm covering up, that will just be spin again. So if I land on that, And for example, I get number 1, which is a book with with just a 1-word title. Then I would have to pick a book with 1 word in the title. And then I'm doing Middlegrade March prompts and also my own TBR. So that will be very exciting. I then have the TBR tin, and it's got all my veteran books in here. So if I land on green, it's TBR tin. I have not used the TBR tin for a while because I was so full of like goals and things that I wanted to read and plans that I didn't feel there was room to just have random books. Whereas I'm feeling really random. I feel very delighted that since the year started, I'm feeling a lot more random. I don't feel I've set anything up for me to be needing to read. I may feel differently when I start to film my series about series video and go, so I've started series and finished none. But that is a problem for future chatty. Good luck, future chatty. So in here, I have got, when did I put them in here? I don't know when I first did the TBR tin, but it's been a while. I have not updated it. There could be very many old books in here, so we might have several. I might have to pick out 10 before I find one that I haven't read that becomes the book that I read. So that's going to be fun. So it's definitely veteran books in here. There are no new books in here. So that's that one. And then finally, one that I kind of just came up with when I was trying to think, what sort of stuff do I want to be doing? What do I feel like reading in March to help with the prompt? Yellow is reread or new read. And there's a number 12 and dice here to help me remember how this is going to work. So my plan is I choose to do either reread or new read. New read or reread, and I flip a coin, and one thing will align to one or the other. And if, for example, it is a reread, I will then roll 2 dice. And the reason I'm doing 2 dice, I will pick 1 die. I'm not going to roll dice because that's crazy. I will pick a dice and 2 different, let me get some dice. This is confusing. Here they are. Right, okay. Let's try that again. So, reread or new read? I flip a coin. Am I doing new reads or rereads? For example, it's rereads. I then have 2 dice here. I don't know which one is which, and I pull one out, and I have decided that blue is 1 to 6 and purple is 7 to 12, and I have blue, which will make this simple for us all. So, naturally, has got 1 to 6 on it. I then roll the dice, and I have come up with the number 1. That's very helpful. I have numbered my shelves between 1 and 12. I have 12 of them. So that is very useful. So I would then go to the first shelf, which I have down in the corner here, which is currently a sort of poetry and novels in verse shelf at the front. So I would go to that shelf, and then I would randomize the number, and that book would be the one that I'd read. If it's a book I've already read, and then that would be a reread. So I would discuss the shelf with you. I'm not just going to make myself, if, for example, I'm not just going to randomly pick up, Memory of Souls, although that would be fun, and reread that book. There are certain books that I have in my head that are ones I'd be happy to reread, and ones where I'm like, I've read them recently, I'm not ready to reread them again. So I would discuss the shelf with you. So some will have more options than others. We will see how it goes. We might not even land on it. So that could be a completely wasted explanation. Okay, so that is all for colour prompts. 30 seconds prompts if I land on blue. Middlegrade March Mad Spin if I land on pink. TBR tin for green, and reread or new read for yellow. Now on this board, I have 2 little tick boxes next to each colour, which means I will only be landing on 1 colour twice, because I find it boring if I just do 3 30-second prompts and 3 TBR tins. I would find that very dull. I want a mixture. So should I land on 2 colours, I am going to be doing a We're All Mad Here card. So I'll be pulling out one of the Wonderland cards. I've already decided which one it is going to be. I won't reveal it yet because I'm not going to go and explain it unless we're actually playing it. But the idea with the We're All Mad Here cards, Wonderland cards, is it's kind of a game within a game. And I've taken inspiration from sort of slightly more difficult TBR games, like he's now called Gavin Reads It All, or Gavin's Read It All, but he used to be called How to Train Your Gavin. And he used to do Play Your TBR Right, which was quite torturous between books he wanted to read and books he didn't want to read. So it's that kind of thing about books that I might want to read to books I don't really feel ready to read. So there's an element of tension, which is fun. I am definitely ready to be back doing crazy TBR games, having had a nice relaxing rest for quite a while. I'm ready for the crazy. I hope you are too. I'm going to drink some tea now and then we will do the first roll.
Okay, we are ready for the first roll. I've chosen green and yellow dice because they feel Marchy spring-like, like a daffodil. And we have got why am I doing 2? I'm on the first square. Right, we'll try that again. We're going with yellow. Let's try it again. We've got a 2.
So we've got a 2. I mean, the sensible choice would be to go blue, pink ladder or green, yellow ladder. But I don't know if I'm feeling sensible or not. So those are options. So I could do that, or I could get a yellow, I could get a green, or I could get a blue, I could get a blue, I could get a green. Can't get a pink, I've just realised, as the pinks are currently occupied by both worms and ladders. So no Middlegrade Mad Chat Spin thing, whatever I called it. I am basically trying to, I know you'd love the 30-second prompt, but I want to try one. I'm feeling maybe in the mood for TBR 10, or I might try a new read or reread. Just because it feels fun, and now I can't decide which one to do. Oh, poo. Okay, so I paused to decide, and I am going to go for yellow, which means I am going anti-clockwise. So I've gone blue, yellow, and we are going anti-clockwise around the board because I counted and there was an opportunity for me to get 3 chances of green but only 2 of yellow. So that's what we're doing. So it feels like it was worth it to explain all of that chaos of the reread or new read prompt to you now. So here we go. I have a 2-penny piece. I will assign heads to rereads and tails to new reads. So jump, cat, slam, and it is tails, which was new reads, wasn't it? Yes. It is now, because that's what I think it is, and I can't see if I'm wrong or not. Really have a goldfish memory today. Right, so it's new reads, which is exciting. Rereads would also be exciting, but new reads is exciting too. Okay, so blue is 1 to 6, purple is 7 to 12. And I have 2 shelves. I have my poetry and novel and verse shelf is 1. Classics shelf is 2. Middle grade favourite-y shelf. So I don't actually think there's anything on. I don't think there's anything on the new reads on that shelf for new reads. So we'll have a look. 3. 4 is this shelf here. Oh, and I've got books that aren't on shelves. Oh man. This was clever, wasn't it? Will I be able to tell where I pulled those books from? Will there be gaps? There might be gaps. I'm going to try it like that because otherwise it's just going to confuse me too much. It's going to confuse me too much. So this is 4. Over here is 5. 6 is in the hallway, and the rest are upstairs in my room. Okay. And I've got this dice, and it's purple, so it's an upstairs shelf. Okay. Can I roll it in front of here? Can you see? You can't see that at all, can you? No. Oh, it's there. You can see that bit. Anyway, never mind. It doesn't matter. I will just show you the dice. You're just going to trust me. Okay. So upstairs, I have got my Hob shelf. There are other books on there hidden behind. So I've got Hob is 1. Beautiful shelf is 2. Then I've got 3, 4 on the other bookshelf, and then I've got 5, which is my seasonal shelf, and 6, which is my baskets and mess piles. So there we go. And it is 1, which means I cannot remember what I've hidden behind the hob shelf, but that's where we're going. That's where we're going. So I might not get to roll the dice. I might not do a random number pick because I might just have to literally read what's on that shelf. So we're going to go on a journey. So I do love overcomplicated plots in books, which is why I love my overcomplicated game. This is my hob shelf. It goes right from Assassin's Apprentice in the Farseer, along the live ship traders with the novella, and Tawny Man, Rain Wild, Fits and Fool in all their glory. But I have no idea what's behind, so this could be interesting. So let's start off. Oh, stray hair bubble. I'm going to move Farseer. Okay, Brandon Sanderson's Dawn Shard. I can't read that yet. I'm not allowed because I haven't reread Oathbringer. And I am doing that. Oh, there's something behind it. Edge Dancer and Handmaid's Tale. Edge Dancer and Handmaid's Tale I have read, so they are not new reads. So we're going to move the Live Ship Traders. City of Nightmares I have also read. Ooh. Move along. Whoop. This is all getting very, very chaotic now. I don't know where to put books. Okay, stretch down to the floor. I hope you're enjoying all the lovely camera angles. I mean, it could just focus in a little bit more so you can see the spines. Right, I'm back. Oh, here we go. Here it is. I have not read Life After Life. I don't know if there's anything. No, I think that is the only book on this shelf that I have not read. I think it could be time to read Kate Atkinson's Life After Life, because the other books here are Ink Spell and Ink Death, both of which I have already read. So that was simpler than expected. You are coming out. You are a big book. There we go. There we go. We have our first book for March. It's a chunky one. It's a chunky book. Kate Atkinson's Life After Life. I could not even tell you. I think it's got time travel in it. So, sci-fi? Possibly? Category? I'm not sure. What does it say? Oh, it's in England 1910, so it's also historical fiction. Second and third chances for your life. Ooh. It does sound really good. I am excited. And actually, I do really feel in the mood for this kind of book. It just feels not like something I've been reading recently. So we have time travel. We have this kind of like Groundhog Day, like repetitive lives thing. I've heard so many good things about this, and also the second book, God in Ruins. I don't know if they're companion novels or if it's like a little duology that continues on as thing. But it doesn't matter, because I've had this book for a really long time. This is actually a TBR vet. And I just haven't felt in the right mood for it, just because I've been so focused on getting my series done and doing these other things. And basically, the fact that I have read so little in February has really helped me get over this kind of need to get a load of books finished at the end of a month. Which I didn't think I had that until February happened. So I'm just really chill now about my reading, which is great. This is exactly where I wanted to be. So it feels like the perfect time to pick this up, because maybe this will be the only book I read in March. I mean, that's not going to happen. I will be definitely reading a middle grade. So maybe I'll only read half of this and a middle grade. I don't know, but I feel very excited, and it'll be going on my TBR pile, and I intend to read it. Let's do roll number 2.
Okay, still on the first square, so just the one dice. Number 3. And this time I do not have to worry about what I'm going to read. And I did make the right call, because look, 1 blue, 2 pink, 3 is green, which was my other choice.
I'm definitely enjoying the randomness of this TBR. So green is the TBR tin. So I'm just going to pick a random book and I have no idea what it's going to be. And that makes me feel really, really excited. Oh, I need a pen to tick off things. So I'm just ticking off the squares we've landed on before I forget and the whole rules of the game go out the window. So we have got the reread or new read. And we have got the TBR tin.
So one more strike and then it's the We're All Mad Here challenge. Right, the tin has all been shaken up. The colours used to mean things. I can't remember what they used to mean. I think green and orange had something to do with series, but I'm not sure. I am allowed one veto. Okay, one refusal, because I generally cannot remember what's in here. And usually I am nice to myself and I don't force myself to read things that it's really not the time for. Okay, I've got this one. It's blue. I don't think that meant anything. I think that was just a random colour. I can't open it. It's probably going to be one I've already read anyway. Really can't open it. Come on. Okay. Only a Monster. Already read. That was by Vanessa Len. I need to read the second book in that series. Okay, number 2. It's red. Can't remember if that meant anything. Galileo's Daughter. I think I might be using my veto. I haven't read it, but it's a non-fiction. And I don't know if I'm going to finish my February non-fiction by the end of February. And I'm really enjoying it, but it's one where I'm reading a bit a day-ish or every other day. And I don't feel my brain can cope with 2 non-fictions. This would just be me being mean to myself for no reason. So that's my veto. That's the one I'm allowed. I will accept anything else. I'm now quite scared. I've got an orange. I think that's start of a series. Okay, it's the start of a series. It's a reread series that I was considering rereading at one point. It's The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Now, this book is not currently in my house because I lent it to a friend. So we have the other 2, but I don't have this one. And I don't know. She keeps saying, I'll bring your book back. I'll bring your book back. I don't know if she'll bring it back in time, or am I using that as an excuse because I don't feel like reading The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo? Because that means me committing to a series and it's a reread, and I definitely want to reread, but it wasn't this year. That was not one of the plans for this year. But I've already had my veto. What do I do? I've set myself rules and then I feel like I've shot myself in the foot and now I'm no longer excited about the TBR tin. I'm gonna say I don't have it in my house. I can't read it. There we go. Ha ha. I shouldn't have mentioned the veto. I should have just allowed myself as many as I like till I find one that I feel like reading. Okay. The Lamplighters. I will accept that. There we go. The Lamplighters. This is a book that, so let's go and get the book. The Lamplighters. I will go and get it. Here it is. The Lamplighters by Emma Stonex. So again, it's another TBR vet that I've had for a long time. And I wasn't sure because I've already got another TBR vet, Kate Atkinson. Both of these are not my typical reads. Like, my typical reads are fantasy. But actually going up to go and get it, I suddenly feel quite excited about it. So this is good. This is really good because it's making me read it, and I'd just kept putting it off because I don't know what mood I was wanting to be in. I was really, really, really in the mood for this when I did a tea and taste. So I did a tea and taste with 4 books that all seemed to have like a coastal vibe, which was really cool. And it was basically between the Lamplighters and the Mercies that I was deciding between. And I ended up going for the Mercies and then not reading either of them. But I do want to. But they very much kind of felt like cold winter vibes. At the moment, it's a really grey and gloomy day. So I could feel this. I could definitely feel this. And I forgot how much I love the cover. We've got this like really kind of like, is cerise the right word? It's like a really like dark red, almost pink colour.
with this really inky purple, and it's like swirling around. We've got the lighthouse in the middle with gold foiling of the light, and then some sort of gold dustiness around, and I just really enjoy it. And then it goes on to the edges, and so we've got a little bit of sprayed edges going on here. So it is very pretty, and is it a bit of a thriller? Bit of a thrillery mystery, and I do feel at the moment that I am feeling the call to more like thrillery mystery books, so I'm actually very happy with this so far. Okay, I'm loving the randomness. Well done, TBR tin. Thank you. I won't put those in just in case. Put them back in later, maybe. Roll number 3.
All right, let's pick up the pace and stop with the waffle, because we should not be spending half an hour on 2 prompts. 5. So 5 gives us, ladder, green, blue, pink, yellow again.
Okay, so we are on the reread or new read one. And shall I go for a reread just for fun because I've already done the new read? Or am I not going to want to? We'll flip a coin because I clearly now can't decide. So let's flip. And heads is reread and tails is new read. It is tails again. So we're going for new read. We're going to embrace that. Here's the dice. I'm going to pick this dice. It is blue. I'm rolling. We have a 4. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. So from this shelf, new reads from this shelf. Are there any? I will find out.
So this would have definitely have been great for reread because there are so many books on here that would fit the rereading. Master of Gin by P. Jelly Clark, Pratchett. There is a whole pile of Pratchett hidden under there. You can just see the tip of this velvety book called Pure Dead Magic, which is a middle grade series, which would be a reread. We've then got the Stargazer series. 2 of them are new reads, but I need to reread the first one again. I have got some Fairy Loot books behind here as well, but I buddy read those with my Fairy Loot book buddies. So I don't know if I'd want to pick those up. I have read The Cat Who Saved Books. The Mercies I've already spoken about. I want to be in the correct mood for the Mercies. I mean, Gen Lions, I have already read that series and it's amazing. Sanderson I have not read. It's the Skyward series, but I'm reading other Sanderson I'm not ready to start. But as you may notice here, it's a big gap because what was on this shelf was books, middle grade books that I've pulled out to put up here. And one of these middle grade books, very helpfully, well, 2 of them actually. I've got The Girl Who Drank the Moon and I've got The Girl of Ink and Stars. Both books I do really want to read. I'm going to go for the one that I have been putting off for the longest time. So it is very much a TBR veteran Bookstack at the moment. And that is Kieran Millward Hargrave's The Girl of, please don't collapse on me as I pull you out, Ink and Stars. And I do love that cover. So I was actually quite worried that I'd have to persuade Vadania and Chloe to read another Fairy Loot book with me or just go ahead reading without them. But it's okay because middle grade had been moved. So perfectly, this wasn't going to be on my middle grade TBR, but it is a middle grade book that I have been putting off for a really long time and I really want to read. And actually it is a book that I want to read before April because in April it is the Magical Readathon Aurelium by G from Book Roast. And I should have read this book because that was on my TBR and I haven't finished it yet. So it's time. It is time for this book. Also, it's quite small, which is very helpful considering the other books are not so. Okay, roll 4. So if we get 4, I will be doing We're All Mad Here. And that could be both terrifying and wonderful. 6. So we have 6. So that is green, ladder, blue, yellow, blue, pink. That was 6, wasn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 6. Great. I can count. Woohoo. Okay, generally quite worried that I wasn't going to get that many middle grade books on here. So very happy to have got pink, which is the Middlegrade March Mad Spin. So here we go. I will be spinning my dinosaur. Let me readjust the camera so you can see, because it's going to be better if it's on a flat surface. So 1 is prompt number 1, which is to read a book with one word in the title. 2, prompt number 2 is to read a debut book. 3 is a diaspora book, so about refugees or immigration. 4 is a book with animals on the front cover. 5 is a book you missed out on. So if you feel there's a book there that everyone's been reading that you haven't, or it's a classic you never got read, that's the type of book. And so that's number 5, which is 3 here. And the 2 here, which I've covered in blue tack, is going to be spin again. Okay, spin! And it is number 5, a book you feel you missed out on. So the book I have for that is, again, a chunky book. But it's a buddy read that I'm going to be doing with Tallia from Vadania Book Mum. And we will be having a chat on my Discord, which is a middle grade based Discord called Middlegrade Mad Chat. And it is The Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. Neither of us have ever read it. It's a very popular middle grade fantasy series. And as a fantasy reader and as a middle grade lover, I definitely feel it's something that I should try. I'm slightly nervous because I very much feel it's a Marmite book. You either love it or you hate it. And I hope I get that reaction. I don't want to just feel meh about it. It's going to be quite a big book to just feel meh about. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that I am on the side that love it, that are here for a good time, enjoy the adventure. I am going in knowing that the author was young when she wrote it and has since said she would rewrite it and re-edited it, and it wouldn't be that way if she was to write it now. But I hear people who absolutely love this series. Sophia from Sophia's Thoughts love this series. Pris from Pris's, oh, I'm so sorry, Pris, I've forgotten your channel name, but Pris loves it. But there are people who hate it. My lovely friend Vadania could not stand the book. She really did not enjoy it at all. She did not have a good time. And also I know that Jade from Jade Reads and Gavin, who I've already mentioned, they had it as one of their, when they did Middlegrade March, when they did Middlegrade Monthly and did monthly middle grade reads, they did not enjoy this book. So I don't know which way it's going to be. I haven't got the book to show you because it's under my bed. It's a book that's been under my bed for a very long time, so we're still keeping with the TBR vet theme here. And I need to earn it. So I need to be healthy and I need to get that book out. And this is another motivation for it because it is my 4th book on my TBR. I've got 2 more rolls to go. Let's see what we get. Okay, roll number 5. Here's a 5. I think I might have cut myself off early there with the pause. It was a 5. So here we go. We have got green, yellow, blue, no, green, blue, worm. It's a worrying worm. Ooh. Oh no. Okay, so somewhere I did not do the pause button correctly. So I don't know if you saw my last roll or my move around the board. You definitely didn't see me pick a card. So I'm not sure what you saw. So I'll fill you in. I rolled a 5. I got a worrying worm, and I just pulled out this card, which is a book that has a number of words in the title. So I need to roll a dice to decide what that number is going to be. Anything between 1 and 6. So
I was just about to gush and say, it would be great if it rolled a 1, and then realised that it wasn't recording. So whoops, sorry, I don't know what you've missed, but hopefully you're now all caught up, and this is the worrying worm card I've got. I'm now rolling the dice to see how many words in the title. I really want a 1 because that fits a Middlegrade March prompt, and I have books in mind. It's a 5! Like, not a good one. Book with 5 words in the title. I'm going to see what I can find. Oh, hold on. Oh, that's so perfect! I've literally just seen it. Other words for... No, it's 4. I can't count. It's 4. Damn it. The boy who fell from the sky is 6. Right, okay, let's see. Just been going through all the books going, no, too many, no, not enough. But I have one, and it is on my Middlegrade March TBR, so I am thrilled. Secrets of a Sun King by Emma Carroll. This is a middle grade historical fiction. I have never read an Emma Carroll. I am excited to be reading an Emma Carroll. And amazingly, this is another book that is even more on my I need to read this book before April, because it is one of my I should have read this for the magical readathon Aurelium. So this is great. And I really feel in the mood for historical fiction middle grade. So I'm very excited. It is looking good. I've now got 3 middle grade on the pile. The representation is not so great. It's not looking very diverse here. But hopefully I can read some other ones to balance all of that out. Which just goes to show when I get really random, I can't always hit my goals. So, final roll. We're almost there.
And we're now on 2 dice. So here we go. We have got 4 2s. So let's see what we get. Right, so we're still travelling anti-clockwise. So we have green, yellow, pink. Green is another worrying worm. What were the chances? Whoop. There we go. That was our final roll. We end on the 3rd square, interestingly enough. Well, at least this way you get to watch me in real time-ish pick out a worrying worm card. So, oh, I've got that one the wrong way around. Let me reorganise them. Get there all. This is the backs of all of them. There we go. Okay, so I've not drawn on all of them. So, when did I have the time? Right, there's 4 cards. Let's shuffle. What's it going to be? I'm scared. It's this one. And it is an author's surname must start with the letter. So I need to pick out a letter. Again, using my children's stuff. This time it's their alphabet letterland pieces. So pour them all in here. Handy fairy bag. Give it a shake. What have I got? I've got this one, and it is I. So surname beginning with I. Off the top of my head, can I see anything sticking out at me with I? Not really. Not there. Anything here? Littler, Akaguru, Hicks, Rundle, Kuznia, Hardy, Nicole, Burrell, Royce. No eyes. I'm going to have to look further afield. Still haven't found any down here. I'm going to go upstairs. The only author's name that I can think of off the top of my head is Mick Inkpen, who writes picture books. That's the only one I have. I cannot think of an author's name beginning with I of books that I want to read from. So hopefully I might find something upstairs. I managed to find one. I was genuinely thinking, I'm going to have to go to the library and get back to you. There are no authors beginning with I in my house apart from Mick Inkpen. As much as I enjoy picture books and read picture books, this is not what I am putting on my TBR.
So, but I found one. I have got The Snow Child by Eowyn Ivy. So this book, you can see her name at the bottom there, Eowyn Ivy, written in the snow. First of all, I really enjoyed this cover. It is dark purple, and then we've got this sort of spray paint. No, it looks like it's made of lots of little tiny paper snowflakes. So it looks like someone has got, does anyone remember we used to do paint? Like, that's my era of drawing on the computer, paint. And you had like the spray paint can, and you'd do like a and the more you do it, you'd get more dots that would build up bigger and bigger. It's like that, but with snowflakes. So someone's got the snowflake bottom, and they have made these silhouettes up out of these snowflakes, which is really cool. So you've got two very tall like sets of like, they look like birch trees, but they won't be, on the side between, with a snow child in the middle. And then you've got these, they kind of look like paper cutouts of a girl, and I'm going with a fox or a husky. It's just got that sort of long bushy-ish tail. Anyway, it's another TBR vet. I've had this for a while, and I keep putting it off because I'm like, well, I'll read it in the winter. And then I never read it in the winter because I just haven't picked it up. And I think it's just not calling to me anymore. So it is on a, do I want to read this? So this is a perfect opportunity for me to read a little bit. And if I'm not interested, I can just DNF it. And then we've dealt with that. I'm hoping that I do enjoy it. I don't know. I bought it when I was buying books again, and it was in World of Books. It wasn't very much. I was like, well, that looks interesting, I'll get it, without really knowing too much about it or thinking about it. And I just thought it sounded like an interesting kind of like folky fairy tale type of thing. I'm going to say this is magical realism. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's kind of like the myth of the Snow Child. It's like a retelling of the Snow. It is called the Snow Child, but it's a Slavic sort of folk tale about a child made of snow. I have the Sophie Anderson Middlegrade book called The Snow Girl, which is, I think, of that similar Slavic folktale, which I'm very excited to read. So it might be interesting to read this and then that one. So there we go. Not exactly a spring book, but it will be clearing space on my bookshelf, if nothing else. And there we go. We have my TBR. So here it is. Here is the Bookstack. We have Kate Atkinson, Life After Life, which was a new read from the Reread or New Read. We have The Lamplighters by Emma Stonex, which was from the TBR tin. We don't have it with us, but we have The Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger, which was the middle grade Mad Spin. It is prompt 5 that I'm covering. We have The Girl of Ink and Stars by Kieran Millward Hargrave, which is another reread or new read. It's a book I haven't read yet. We have Emma Carell's Secret of a Sun King, which is a 5-word title from A Worrying Worm. And finally, we have The Snow Child by Eowyn Ivy, which is a pretty name, which is another Worrying Worm, which was an author beginning with I. So there we go. That is my official TBR for March. We will see if I read those books. You will find out when I do my March stats. And I'm now going to talk about Middle Grade March. So if that's what you're here for, then get stuck into the comments. Tell me what you are reading for Middle Grade March. Which books are you excited about? Are you planning on reading for all of the prompts? Or are you just going to read a middle grade book because you're not normally a middle grade reader? I have options for all the prompts. We will see if I get to them. I'm not putting pressure on myself, but I will go through what is on my TBR. So the first prompt, a book with one word in the title. I have got 2 options. I can't decide which one I'm going to choose, so I'm not going to choose. I'm just going to see what happens. One I will be picking up from the library, and that is Ghost by Jason Reynolds. I've really been enjoying reading Jason Reynolds last month, and I want to read a middle grade by him. So that's what I'm going for. It's a contemporary book about a track runner called Ghost, because I can't remember why he's called Ghost, but he's called Ghost. And then there's 3 other stories that follow on, so it is a series about this track running team. But with Jason Reynolds, he always does some kind of wonderful work on characters and dealing with certain situations. So I'm keen to see what that book is about. The other book is a book that I have been so excited for last year and never got around to reading because I'm waiting for the perfect reading moment, and I feel it's just time to read it. Just stop worrying about it and read it, chatty. And that is Jamie by L.D. Lipinski. I'm so excited to read Jamie. This is the story of Jamie, who is non-binary, and that's all been fine. But Jamie is in the last year of primary school, which I don't know what the equivalent would be in your countries. But in the UK, that is you're like 10 turning 11. And then when you are 11, that September, you would go to secondary school. Now, where Jamie lives, they have a girls' secondary school and a boys' secondary school. So Jamie does not know where they fit. And it is basically a story exploring inclusion and exploring being available for everyone, and obviously exploring non-binary and his own voices. L.D. Lipinski is a non-binary author, and I have yet to read an L.D. Lipinski, and I absolutely want to read their middle grade fantasy series, but I know I'm going to love it, and I have so many fantasy series I haven't started, so many I haven't finished, so I'm definitely going to get there. It's going to happen and I will read it. But Jamie, I just needed Jamie in my life, so I'm very excited to be reading Jamie, and possibly Ghost as well. Ones you could also add if you wanted some fantasy. I'm aware both of those are contemporary. I have Wildspark by Vashti Hardy. I have yet to read. Excited for this one. One of my favourites is Frostheart by Jamie Littler. It is the start of a trilogy. It has found family. It has warm, wonderful vibes. It's got adventure. It has got amazing characters, and it deals with prejudice. Our protagonist, Ash, is, what do you call it? It's like a song singer. So he's got the powers of like singing, but singing is how you talk to these creatures called the Leviathan, which are like these kind of like sharkish, dinosaurish sea monsters that everyone is terrified of them coming up through the ice and destroying things. So they don't have singing because it's like that calls to them. So there is this prejudice around people that are from like the singers. And so all of that is happening as well. And it's so good. Love it. You could also read Jamie Littler's new series, which I'm very excited to be reading. Have yet to start, but this is called Arkspire. It is another fantasy middle grade, and I don't know anything about it, but I will link it in the description so you can go and look. But I don't want to know anything about it. I just know that Jamie Littler wrote it and I'm excited to read it. And I have gone by this very exciting map on the front cover of these different kind of planes. So there's like one above this like earth level, and then you've got this underground sludgy level, and then like closer to the top it all looks very kind of powerful people there, and like the lower people at the bottom, and then the city is made of like 5 different ones of those, and they all mean different things, and I'm excited about that type of world building, but I'm not ready for it yet. So those are a few options for one word. Did I have another one that I was going to mention? Nope, I think that was it. So prompt number 2 is to read a debut book. So a book that's a debut. I don't currently have the one that I'm reading. It is at the library. I have requested it. I'm waiting for it to come in. Hopefully it will be with me soon. And that is the Swift's A Dictionary of Lost Words by Beth Lincoln. And this was one of the books that was in the top 10 for the Reader's Choice Awards for middle grade. I'm very excited about it. The Swift family all name their children with a word from the dictionary. So it's like this important ceremony they do for their family. And Shenanigan Swift is thought to be then go on to do kind of like tricks and jokes and be full of mischief. But what Shenanigan Smith wants to do is she wants to be able to solve mysteries and show she can be more than what they expect of her from her name. And at a family gathering, there is a dead body, and she gets involved in solving that mystery. I'm excited. I'm excited for the wordplay. I'm excited for the mystery. We'll see what happens. And this is a buddy read that I am doing Again, we have a Discord thread on my channel, and I will be reading this with Kelli from Kelli Reads a Lot, Tallia from Bandana Book Mom, and Vadania Silverscribe. So I'm very excited about that buddy read. Other books that are debut books, there is I'll try and remember which ones I was going to say. So 2 of my books that I'm going to mention are some of my favourites. This is the second book, not the first book, because I have lent that to a friend's daughter, and it is Onyeka and the Academy of the Sun. It is Tallia Okaguru's debut middle grade book, and I just think it's so much fun. I think it's highly delightful. It's such a wonderful imagined world. We have got brilliant representation in here of sort of what it's like to feel different. We have got found family feelings, we've got friendship explored, we've got family mystery, and we have amazing hair and all the amazing things that it can do. It's so much fun and it's such a joyful book. I love this book and highly recommend it. I have a contemporary book that I also love. This is Elle McNichol's debut novel, and it is A Kind of Spark. I read this very recently. I absolutely adored it. Again, it's got fantastic its own voices, it's neurodivergent representation. It explores this girl called Addie and what her life is like, being seen as different to everyone else, and she really resonates with this school project they're doing, looking at witches, and witches were just women that were seen to be different. So Addie really resonates with that, and she feels very strongly that they need to be remembered and to have this sort of public apology for what's happened, but no one else seems to care. So it's Addie with this little mission that this great mission that she has, and also her sort of dealing with bullying and dealing with the ability to sort of ask for help and to talk to people, and we get to see her family and how that all kind of falls into place. So love this one as well. Okay, so the next prompt is reading a book that features a protagonist or characters where they are moving to a new country and what it's like to be in a new country, or they are fleeing another country because it is not safe for them there. So it's looking at refugees, it's looking at immigration, it's looking at that feeling of displacement, so that diaspora of kind of what's going on. I recommend When Stars Are Scattered. This is a library book. I've got to give it back soon. It's a graphic novel and it is beautiful. It's a memoir written by Omar Mohammed. It's his story told with Victoria Jameson, who has done all of the artwork and things in here, and they tell the story together. And it is what it's like to live in a refugee camp for Omar and his brother Hamza, and it's just a really wonderful story. It really deals with what you kind of expect it to deal with, but also unexpected things as well. And I talk about this much better in other videos, but highly recommend this one. Another one I recommend is The Red Pencil, which is a novel in verse, and I totally meant to look up the author who wrote it and I haven't, but I will put the links in the story graph in my description box, so please go check that one out as well. That also looks at being in a refugee camp. That is historical fiction, and it also has the similar theme of education and the importance of education, and it explores the fictitious story, but it's drawn from accounts from people who have been in refugee camps. The one that I am going to be putting on my TBR is one I've been meaning to get to for a while and I just haven't, and it is Jasmine Varga's Other Words for Home. I've got this out the library because I'm not buying books. I'm waiting till March the 2nd, and I have so many that I want. And one of the things that I'm trying to do, working out with my book buying and things, is if I can access it from the library, why don't I access it from the library and buy ones that I can't access from the library or a part of series, because I collect series. I may end up going, this is so amazing, I want it for my collection anyway, but at least this way I'll have read it. And I've just been putting it off because I'm like, no, I feel that's a book that I'm going to love, so I want to own it. I'm trying to move beyond that, and I just think I need to read it. I think it's going to be an amazing story. It's also a novel in verse. I really enjoy the novel in verse format. I've heard so many good things about this. I did enjoy the group read of Middlegrade March last year, which was a Rover's story by this author. So I really enjoyed that. But I think I'm probably going to enjoy this even more because I think it's probably going to be a lot more kind of emotional and a lot more kind of about the family and identity, which are things I really enjoy reading about. The fourth prompt is to read a book with animals on the cover. I didn't mention what my one was, but the book I'm reading for that one is Secrets of a Sun King, very helpfully, because we have got camels on the cover here. So that definitely works. Other recommendations for animals on the cover are Julia and the Shark by Kira Millward Hargrave. We have a shark on the cover. Woohoo! So there we go. We've got birds. This book is, again, a very beautiful contemporary story, and it's about dealing with having a family member who's got mental health. There's more to it than that. It's a really lovely story and really beautifully done, and I really enjoyed this one when I read it last year. Was there any other ones? Oh, did this have one? Oh yes, it has. There we go. So Tamarind and the Start of Ishtar has a monkey on the cover. Jasmine de Balan's other book, which you could also count for a debut novel, Asher and the Spirit Bird, has a bird on the cover, so you could also use that one. I've yet to read this one, but I'm excited to. I really enjoyed Jasmine de Balan's writing when I read Asher and the Spirit Bird, so I will definitely want to read more from her. And don't think I had them up there. No, the other one that I would recommend is kind of more of a older book, and that is Wolf Brother by Michelle Paver. I love the detail, the historical detail in there. It's so immersive. I'd say it is historical fiction, but with elements of magical realism, because they do explore like the gods and spirits as though that is real. So like the magic of those beliefs happens in the book. And it's just, again, we've got this, it's kind of like a coming of age story to a certain extent over the series. It's the first in a series of 6. She has written more since, but I've only read the original ones. And it is about a boy, Turek, who has basically not been part of a tribe. He's been living with just his da, and his da hasn't come back. And it's just him, and then he finds this wolf cub, and they sort of like bond together and have this real connection with each other. And then he falls in kind of with another tribe, and it's kind of his story and journey as they start to realize kind of what his dad was dealing with and involved in, and how it's affecting the whole forest. It's so good. Love that. The final prompt is a book that you were missing out on. I have already said that I will be reading The Keeper of the Lost Cities for this prompt, but I have to, of course, recommend some things to you. So maybe you feel you've missed out and never read Inkheart by Cornelia Funke. This is kind of like an older middle grade. There is more of a danger aspect to it. It is a fantasy, but I'd say more on the magical realism feel to it, because it is set in our world, and the magic is to do with characters coming out of stories. But it's Maggie's ability and her dad's ability to read these books, and her dad's ability to read things out of stories, and it swaps. So something from our world gets put into the story, and something from the story comes out. It started with objects, but when it became people, her dad no longer reads. But both, there's a love of books throughout here that is so beautiful, and it just feels like coming home, and it's one of my absolute all-time favourite books, a comfort read. I did enjoy Inkspell and Ink Death, but not as much as Inkheart. Inkheart, I think, can be read as a standalone. There is more to it if you want to continue, but I think as a standalone, it's just a really delightful book. You may also feel you have missed out on Goodnight, Mr. Tom by Michelle McGorian. This is a historical fiction set in World War II in the UK, in sort of like a country village, and then also bits in London as well. And it is ultimately the story of an evacuee and his guardian for that time, and just how they change each other's lives for the better. And it's so beautiful, so warm. I love it so, so much. And slightly more, oh, I forgot another book with animals on the cover. Okay, so quickly back to the books with animals on the cover. Wilder Than Midnight by Kerry Burnell. We have got a wolf, we have got a bird, we have something else as well. I thought there was something else on here too. Oh well, wolf and a bird, definitely animals on the cover. This is a book that I really do want to read. And it is a fantasy. It's set in the woods. It's got kind of like a fairy tale feel to it. And it has disability representation. Kerry Burnell's arm stops at the elbow, and one of the main characters in this book also has that as well. I just heard wonderful things about it, and it's one of the books that I want to read. Maybe, probably not this month, but definitely soon. So back to 5. You may fear you have missed out or been sleeping on this book by Eden Royce. This book is called Root Magic, and it is historical fantasy. It has some creepy elements. It is 1963. We have some twins. There's a lot of changes going on in their life, and they are being taught root work now that they are 11 by Doc, their uncle. And it opens up a new kind of world to them, and it's sort of like the catalyst of changes coming, and it's how Jez, short for Jezebel, deals with it and kind of embraces kind of this new life. She has to have courage. She deals with bullying. It is like a lot about the culture and community in here as well, and kind of the preserving of sort of like older traditions of the Gullah community. And it's a fantastic book. So you might feel you've missed out on that, and you could read this one. I'm not sure where this would fit in. You could also feel maybe you've missed out on The Insiders by Marcus Shiro, which again is another kind of contemporary magical realism. We have a portal door here, and this also looks at this kind of idea of friendship. There's bullying in here, and it has great representation for what it's like to be a gay child, and what it is also like to be Latin American. And it's just, there's so many warm things in here. There's so many bits that make you feel really sad, but it's ultimately a hopeful story, and it's another one that I really love. Okay, I'm going to stop talking and gushing about books now. So there we go. That is my TBR. I'm missing 3 books from my list. So Ghost by Jason Reynolds, or Jamie by L.D. Lipinski for one word in the title. The Swifts for debut author by Beth Lincoln. Other Words for Home about refugees or immigration by Jasmine Varga. Animals on the cover, Secrets of a Sunken. It has a camel by Emma Carroll. And finally, a book you feel you've missed out on, The Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. So there we go. That is my middle grade March plans. Do tell me what you are planning to read for middle grade March. Give me your thoughts on any of these books, because you know I love a chat. Happy reading, everyone.